What's up everybody, Super Gearbox fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2013 Nissan 370Z. Huge thanks to South Park Mitsubishi for hooking me up with this awesome 370Z to review for you guys today. So about the 370Z, well this is like one of the most requested cars you guys have been asking and begging for me to review, and now I'm finally having a chance to review one. So about the 370Z, well for 2013 they restyled them a little bit. So you know, you have this new front bumper which has these daytime running lights, and they got rid of the fangs in the front, and there's a few other slight little differences between the earlier models. There's, you know, mixed opinions about how people feel about the changes. I have mixed feelings about it as well. You know, it looks good, but I think I prefer the previous, 2009 to 2012 version better. But this still looks like a really nice car. And this one obviously finished in this red color with these very sweet rays, forged wheels in this dark gray. It just looks really nice. The back end of these cars has always been one of the most beautiful parts of it, in my opinion. I think the back end actually looks more pretty than the front end, and just very beautiful curves in the back. I mean, this car has hips on it. The back wheels, the fender flares. It's amazing how wide those quarter panels are. It's really a sweet looking car. Right, so for the interior of this car, it's pretty nice. It's kind of snug. So first things first, getting into here, doors feel nice and solid, and you sit down in these seats, and it's an interesting driving position. It reminds me of the BRZ a little bit. It's like you're leaning back in this car, and it's not just because my seat back is that way. It's just like the way that the bottom of the seat is angled. You sit back in the car, and it's kind of a cool sensation. And so, but it's kind of snug in here. I had a friend who's only like about 6 foot tall, and he actually had some trouble fitting in here comfortably. So if you're considering one of these, definitely sit in one. Make sure you fit well before you buy one, of course. But I mean, I'm 5 foot 8.5, 5'9". I fit in here just fine. I don't really feel cramped. It is a smaller cabin though, for sure, and that's something that you just have to get used to. But this is a sports car, so it shouldn't bother you too much. So as far as support goes though, these seats are really good. So they have these good torso bolsters that give you enough wiggle room that you're not squeezed in. It's not quite as awesome as the Evo seats. That's always my benchmark, it seems, but they are really good. I like them a lot, actually. The support is great. The comfort level is great. These are the cloth ones. This is the base 370Z. So cloth seats, but they're a pretty nice cloth material. Next is the steering wheel in this car, which is good, but it's not outstanding. It's nothing really amazing. It's good though. It has a good 9 and 3 position, a little 10 and 2 notches, and has some flat sides here a little bit. But overall, it's a nice round wheel. Pretty basic, but gets the job done. Nothing to complain about either. Next is the gauges in this car, which are pretty cool. So first things first, you have the nice big tachometer right in the middle there, and then you have your 180 mile per hour speedometer off to the right. Left hand side, you have your fuel gauge and your coolant temperature, which are both digital, which is very cool, and there's a little screen there to give you a readout. And whenever you turn the car on, the gauges do a nice little sweep. Even the auxiliary gauge is up here, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. So you have an oil temperature gauge, you have a voltage gauge, and then a clock as well, and nice little set of gauges up there, and they all do a dance whenever you turn the car on. It's a very cool little thing to see. And coming along to the center of the dashboard here, again, this is a base 370Z, so this isn't going to be really nice. Where you would normally have a nice big navigation screen and all that, this one just has a large cubby, which is good if you like storing lots of stuff. And then there's a basic radio down here. It has a CD player, it has an auxiliary in jack, and CD drive. That's about it. So pretty basic. Buttons feel pretty cheap. Resistance isn't great. That's probably the weakest part of the car there, but that's a double DIN unit. Very easy to pull that out and throw in a nice head unit if you so desire. The climate controls down here are pretty good. Feel nice and have a good resistance to them, so I like that. And then as far as storage space goes in this car, you have little map pockets here on the doors, a bottle holder, but this is all really small over here. I doubt you'd be able to fit a full-size bottle in there, but it is there. And then coming along to the other cup holder, there is one other cup holder in the car. Normally cars have two, but this one has one. Again, sports car, I can't really complain about cup holders. You have a little armrest slash cubby back here, and it's fairly shallow, but you can fit a good amount of stuff in there. It has a power outlet, and that's it. Some people like to knock the interior quality of these cars, but it's really not bad. I mean, you have some cheaper plastic up here, but it doesn't actually feel too hard. This one, obviously, again, cloth. Over here, this would normally be leather and a nicer model. But things that they could have just left basic plastic, they actually covered with nice padded material. So this, everything around the air vents, the engine start button, and especially around the transmission tunnel here where you lean your knee against, that's nice and soft, and that goes a long way on a road trip when you're leaning your knees on that. So it's really nice. They really thought out well how to, you know, make everything padded that needs to be padded, and the harder stuff, you know, up on the top of the dashboard that you never touch, that stuff can be cheap, but the stuff that you want to be nice is nice in this car. So I think they really got the interior just right on this car as far as a mixture between quality and also value and, you know, being a budget kind of car. As far as backseat space, there's no back seats, but you do have some little cubbies back there you can you know, fit some stuff in, but yeah, no back seat whatsoever. And you can see right through this hatch, and that's your trunk. So you know, it's shallow, so you can't fit a ton of stuff in there, but I mean, you'll still be able to squeeze suitcases in there. All right, so let's start up and go for a drive. You just hit the engine start button, put your foot on the clutch, and roars to life. So this one has some kind of exhaust work done. It's a stock muffler, but there's something in between that's changed, because this is definitely louder than stock. It also has the still-in dual cold air intakes. So anyway, let's give this a few revs and hear how it sounds. So throaty. I love it. Alright, so let's take it for a drive and see how it does. It started to rain, if you can't tell, so sorry if there's some rain or windshield wiper noise. But anyway, setting off in the Nissan 370Z. So, first things first, you know, you do sit up a little bit higher in this car than you do in a car like the B or Z or something like that, but it still does have a fairly low slung feel to it. So as we pull out here onto this bumpy park road, the first thing that you notice about 370Zs, at least newer ones, this one has 5,000 miles, is that the clutch is a little tricky to drive smoothly. I have a little bit of experience. My friend used to have a 370Z, so I'm a little bit familiar with them, but it definitely is tricky if you haven't driven one for a while. So on this bumpy park road here, though, you know, it's slightly firm, but I always, you know, felt like this car is a little bit more comfortable than some of the hardcore sports cars out there. You know, it's a little bit of a softer ride, and you know, going over these bumps, I mean, it still is, you know, a little bit stiff, and you feel a lot of what's going on and everything, but it's not jarring, it's not obnoxious in any way, so I think it's definitely tolerable for sure. Next is visibility in this car, which is you know, pretty good. So since you're sitting up a little bit higher than you would in a B or a Z or something, you have a pretty good view forward. The hood doesn't get in your way or anything. Side windows are good. You know, you do have a little bit of a blind spot there, but this car is so small that blind spots aren't really an issue, because that, you know, rear window is a pretty wide, so you can see a lot of what's going on around you. But while we're talking about rearward visibility, it's very thin. It's very wide, which is good, as you can see around you, but it's very thin just because of the slope of the hatch. But it's like I said, it's totally fine. You can see out of it all right. It's just something different compared to most standard cars. One thing though that I do notice, I drove this car a little bit earlier, and one thing you notice, and you even can tell a little bit on this park road, is road noise is pretty pronounced in this car. That's one thing that stood out that normally isn't an issue in most cars. In this car, I feel like I hear more of everything. I'm driving through puddles, and I can hear every single puddle I'm driving through and every single little thing going on the road. I can hear it. So I don't know if there's just not a whole lot of sound insulation or what, but you can hear a lot with this car, and on highway speeds and things like that, it probably wouldn't be very desirable. Alright, so it's raining pretty heavily, and the road that I'm about to drive on isn't the smoothest right now, but let's turn onto this back road here and see how it does. Okay, so yeah, it's quick. Oh, that one kind of took me by surprise. That's the first time going full throttle on one of these in a long time. So, yeah, it's pretty quick. so you're dealing with 332 horsepower and I think 269 foot-pounds of torque with this car. So, you know, it feels torquier than that for some reason. But the power is definitely there in all RPM bands, and it feels great. It's just a really nice power plant. It sounds great. I love it. So while we're on this back road here, though, taking corners and things, the steering is really great. It's almost the perfect weight, and you get a lot of feel through it too. It's very natural feeling, and I just really like this wheel a lot. Brake feel is good, everything. There's a little bit of dead travel, but for the most part it's great. This car has the Syncro Rev-Match gearbox as well, so whenever you go into a gear, like it automatically just blipped the throttle for me into second gear. So that takes about 30 minutes or so to get used to, and then it does it way better than you could ever rev match yourself. I mean, it's not as satisfying, but it's still very cool. Anyway, coming up to the tight corner I take here, let's see how this body roll is. It's pretty flat. I mean, there's a little bit of weight there that you can feel. This is about 500 pounds more heavy than a BRZ, so you feel that weight, but it's not too bad, actually. You know, it handled it really well, and so yeah, another wet road, but let's see about this acceleration again, shall we? Hoping a wheel spin that time. And yes, it gets up to speed very well indeed. So, this car is fun. I miss rear-wheel drive too. Rear-wheel drive just keeps showing your toes a little bit more than front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. But yeah, this car is really, I mean, it's a fun car. I mean, even just that quick little backroads drive, I mean, this thing it's really sharp. And quite honestly, the reason why I loved the BRZ when I first test drove it was because it felt like my friend's 370Z. I think, you know, for those of you that test drove a BRZ or an FRS and was like, this is too slow, buy a 370Z. This feels really similar. It's just a little bit heavier, a little bit more comfortable, and a good amount more powerful. So that's what I would say, you know, for those of you that are in the mindset of buying a car like the BRZ or the FRS, but you're worried about not having enough power, check one of these out. Plenty of power for sure, and tons of fun. That rev matching is really cool. You can turn that off, by the way, if you want to, but I don't know why you would. I mean, just boom, rev match into first. That's always a tricky one. This thing just does it flawlessly. So yeah, I'm going to drive this car around here for a little while longer, and I'll come back and give you some updated impressions. Alright, so I've been driving this car for a while now, and have a few more impressions about it. And it's really a good car. So, I mean, the only thing that I can critique since I've been driving it, first is the throttle response isn't quite as good as the brake and clutch feel and everything. Everything in this car feels pretty good except for the throttle. It's just a little bit of a delay. It's not that big of a deal, but it is there. The only other thing is this road noise in this car. This is a smooth road now, and yes, it's, you know, the roads are still wet, but at the same time, there's just a lot of noise. Even whenever it was dry earlier, there was a lot of noise. I mean, it literally sounds like there's rear windows that are rolled down, and I'm hearing all of that. That's almost how bad it is. Again, that might be nitpicky, you might not care, it's a sports car, whatever, but it's just not very refined. I don't know if maybe the nicer 370Zs have more sound deadening in them or what, or this one, maybe they're all this bad, I don't know, but it's excessive. This is the most road noise I've ever heard, I think, in any car I've ever reviewed. So yeah, that's really my only few critiques, though. It really is an outstanding car, and like I said, it's a great, more powerful alternative to the BRZ and the FRS and even the S2000 and cars like that. It's you know, a little more comfortable, and aside from the road noise, a little more refined as well in here. I think the materials are a little bit better than you get in the BRZ and the FRS and all that kind of stuff. The only things, though, that, you know, you get with like a BRZ or an FRS, since that's what I keep comparing this to, is you get back seats in that car. This car, you have no back seats, and the rear tires on this are pretty wide, and from what I've heard, I could be wrong, but these don't do very well in the snow. The BRZ with snow tires was fine for me. So you know, that's just, you know, if you don't have to worry about snow and you don't have to worry about ever putting anyone in the back seat, even in a pinch, you never ever put anyone in the back seat of a car, then this is fine. If this is just a weekend car, then this is great. So, yeah, but I mean, aside from those things, I mean, this is a fantastic weekend car or a daily driver in a nice climate area. It's really, I mean, just spectacular. Everything about this is so fun. It sounds wonderful. The power is great. The power delivery is fun. This engine is very lively. I love the Syncro Rev-Match, just boom, perfect rev matching every time. It's really cool, and it makes it a whole lot easier too, and just sounds awesome, especially with this exhaust. Like I said, I think I'd go for one of the slightly nicer ones, or upgrade the head units, things like that, because this car is sorely lacking in the infotainment department. But a lot of you guys don't care about that. You just want to go fast and have a good driving experience. And if that's all you're looking for, then this base 370Z is great. And this one actually is available from South Park Mitsubishi currently. I don't know how long it's going to be there, but if you're watching this in the first, week or two of me posting it, definitely check out South Park Mitsubishi's website, give them a call, and they'd love to come help you out and get you in this car. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.